And I believe we are now live on air. Thanks for joining us. This is the Tuesday night Tearing It Up, where we just talk about stupid things, have fun, and there's no agenda. So if you think this is going to be anything serious, you're in the wrong place. That's the Thursday night show. Tuesday is something dumb. So I have two guests tonight with me so far. Radio personality Brian Hagen.
Hello there, Tarrin Lupo. It's good to be on Tearing It Up. Massively unique and creative name. I don't know how long it took for you to come up with that, but man, I'm proud of you.
What, the Tearing It Up?
Yeah, wow.
I think it was actually creative. It was actually a joke from Jamie Crane a long time ago, and then Kate passed it to me on Facebook. And I was like, that's a great idea. So I ran with it. Totally stole it. It wasn't original, but why not? It's fun.
Genius steals. That's what I've always lived by. That's the motto I present with my entire life,
And then joining us, we have someone who just likes to go by Mike.
Yes,
So
Mike.
He has no last name. He's kind of like Cher.
Yes.
And Mike, why don't you tell us a little about how you got roped into this?
Blackmail and bribery.
I love those pictures I have of you, Mike.
Yeah, thanks a lot, dude.
We're starting with that. Now, if you guys are here to actually see the Wheels Off Liberty podcast, guys, in typical Wheels Off Liberty style, Jamie hasn't shown up yet. I don't know if he's coming or not. And Mike Maddox just sent me an email saying, oh, dude, I got stuck at work. I don't know if I can make it. So I have no idea if they're going to chime in. And now that I've been promoting it for like a week, everybody was super excited since we haven't been on air together for, I think, almost 4 to 5 years, if I remember right.
Wow.
So, thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah. So the one draw of the show, everybody's like, hey, I want to see Wheels Off Liberty. Of course, these idiots cancel. So here's the thing about that show. For you guys that don't know me and don't realize, there was a heyday of podcasting around, what would you guys say, like 2008, 9, 10?
Yeah.
Everybody was podcasting because people didn't have smartphones yet that could handle streaming, and streaming technology just wasn't that great. So you like go home, you would download this podcast, load it into your phone or your MP3 player, and then you'd like listen to it at the gym or on the drive. And so for years, I loaded podcasts. And Mike and Jamie had this Wheels Off Liberty podcast. And what it meant was wheels off, that's kind of like a Southern redneck term for when you're going so fast down and out of control that the wheels come off the car. You know, you're going at wheels off speed. So that was the name of the podcast, Wheels Off Liberty. So it was like two dumb rednecks talking about stupid things, and then they would add in some sort of little Liberty segment, just as little as they could get away with.
Oh, yeah.
And it ended up being a huge hit. We were over at Podcast Alley, and we were getting downloaded as like number 2 and 3 in the world on Podcast Alley at that time. We were constantly in the top 5, and we were like, how did this happen? No idea. So we had this huge podcast audience that just ate it up and wanted more. At the time, everybody was trying to outsmart each other on their podcast. They would have intellectual talks about Mises and Austrian economics, and some other show would try to do it smarter, and some other show would do it smarter. And these guys decided to go as dumb as possible, and it ended up being a huge hit. And then Mike went off for some sort of we say he went to Thailand for a training operation. None of us really know what happened to him. So Mike disappears. And Jamie's like, I can't do a show alone. You got to come on. And he invites me on, and that's how it happened. I ended up being the third wheel on Wheels Off Liberty. And what happened to the show? It was wildly popular, and they quit at the top. Like, everybody's wanting more. All of us are, we're getting interviews all the time. People are actually like paying us to come speak at libertarian conventions. And they just quit because they simply can't schedule anything. Apparently, Wheels Off is not just it's also a philosophy of the planning of the show. There was no planning.
It's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle, Tarrin.
It's a lifestyle. So these guys, we had this, like, people would kill for the numbers we used to hit on these podcasts, and and of course they can't keep it together and they fall apart. So this show ends, and right on the top, like we're getting these crazy ratings, and they just never do another show again. So that was it. And then after that, people have been wanting more and more and more. And I honestly think these guys just don't want to go on because they went out on top. It's like Seinfeld, where he just left on the top. Right. And that way, people are going to find out they're not funny anymore. 5 years later, it's not fresh and funny anymore.
Well, it's like a lot of things in life. You look back and you really enjoyed it when you were younger, and then you realize that you were just wasting your life away. And I think that's what would happen if these two come back. People are going to be like, why did I ever listen to this podcast in the first place? Then there's going to be lots of hatred because they wasted so much of their time in life, and then they're no longer going to be the heroes that they think they are.
And also Mike has very sensitive feelings. He would find it very hurtful.
Yeah, he does get his feelings
hurt
a lot.
And he also has... He does. He also has very sensitive hands. At least that's what Jamie says.
So, oh man, and Corey Moore's talking about the homo cards. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I remember the homo cards. I believe you gave me one, Tarrin, at the Porcupine Liberty Festival many years ago.
You still have it. They're collector's items. So what happened was, all right, there was a libertarian talk show real popular called Free Talk Live, and they supported themselves by doing something called an AMP program. And what that was people would send money in voluntarily, like $3 to $5 a month, and they had a couple hundred people sending them money, so they were getting a couple $1,000s a month to run this show. So of course, all these other podcasts see that that's successful and start trying it. And our version was called the Homo program, the help. What is it? Help, oh guys, what was it? Help
our marketing outreach.
Yeah, help our marketing outreach or something like that. And of course, like everybody wanted, when you donated money, you got a homo card. And of course, it was because we were a big hit in the gay community, and I'm not exactly sure why. But do you remember how many gay people we had listening to the show that just loved us?
It was the irony. You guys were the Bette Midlers of the Liberty podcast movement.
We were the what is it called? The fag hags, right? Where
yeah, exactly what you were. You were the wind beneath their wings.
Oh my goodness! And so that was it. And again, if you're coming on and you don't know that this is not the serious podcast, this is our Screw Around podcast on Tuesdays. If you're here for something serious and think there's going to be serious topics,
go away.
Yeah, you're in the wrong place tonight. You want the Thursday night show. But if you want to ask us questions, we are going to still dive into stuff we had planned out. We're going to talk about 80s fashion. We're going to show some pictures of the 80s and us, except Hagen didn't show one because he's lame, but you never found me the 80s picture.
I never could find one. Life has been very busy for me these last few days. I've been laying around in my easy chair and doing important things like eating bacon and touching myself. So I never got around to the picture, and I would apologize, but frankly, I don't care. So at least I showed up for your stupid show, unlike your former co-host.
Because I paid him so much,
Right.
Those guys are, that makes me, I promoted it all week. I can't believe that they canned out. And Jamie is like that girlfriend that won't call you back ever. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
Or you think you have a date, but she doesn't answer the phone and she won't return your text. And she doesn't have enough nerve to tell you to go away, but she just hides from you. That girl, that's Jamie Crane.
Well, Jamie was apparently busy in his backyard slaughtering ducks or something today, because this is what he does for fun. It's really strange. I remember on the days of Wheels Off Liberty, Tarrin, you were the one that those two Okie rednecks always made fun of because you weren't into going out there and hunting and shooting things just for the fun of it.
Killing things.
We're going to go out there and kill a duck. And they always made fun of you for that.
Yeah, so. I just don't get hunting. I don't know. I'm sorry, I missed that gene. I really don't think I got the male gene because I'm not really into cars. I'm not really into sports, and I'm not into hunting. I like.
To your credit, you play Rocket League at least.
That's true.
At least you're somewhat with the up with the times.
Oh man, that's so funny. All right, so we're going to talk a bit. I'm going to try to screen share here, and we're going to see what happens.
Ooh, experimental.
So hopefully this works. No promises, but hopefully.
Minimize the porn window first, Tarrin.
All right, hold on.
And
Let's see if this guy's.
don't pull a Carlos Danger.
What is he? What'd you say?
Don't pull a Carlos Danger.
Oh, tell us about Carlos Danger. What happened there?
That's what's his name? What's his name? Mike.
Wiener.
Thank you, Wiener, of course.
Wiener, of course. All right, can you guys
He's
see
always
this?
doing wacky things.
Can you guys see this picture?
Oh, I see it.
On Jamie Crane here.
He looks
Okay.
so disaffected.
So this is Jamie from the 80s. And you see he actually played in a rock band or something, some crappy rock band. And so he's got the Pantera shirt on, the long hair, and the small beard. And this is him today where it reversed. His beard grew and his hair went away. You guys see this?
Well, what I love, there's a couple of things going on here. Okay, I want to focus on modern day Jamie Crane. I love how his picture looks remarkably like a picture from the days of MySpace. I mean, we have these front-facing cameras now, but what does Jamie choose to do? He goes into it looks like he's in a public men's bathroom.
Yeah, I think he is because he's got gloves on for some reason.
Yeah,
what is his gloves for?
He's wearing fingerless gloves, like maybe Corey Feldman gave them to him as a gift or something. And he's standing like in a men's bathroom, taking a picture of himself because all of his attempts to tap feet under the stalls have been unsuccessful.
And he looks like this isn't his first time taking pictures in a men's stall. It doesn't. He looks pretty comfortable here.
If Jamie was with the times, he would realize that the way that you take selfies now is you poke out your butt over a hamburger, and then you take all three with your face doing a duck face. Jamie's behind the times. Get with the Instagram game, sir.
Are you talking about the breading craze where you stick your face through a piece of bread, or are you talking about?
No, like you have to take a selfie butt photo over the plate of food you just ordered. So you get like the butt shot,
That's
the
a thing?
duck shot over the food you just bought. And then that is what the kids are doing. I'm telling you.
I'm so out of touch. All right, so let's move on to Mike Maddox here. This is a picture out of him in the 80s. Now he gets double points because one, not only does he have curly hair, he's got a mullet curly hair.
Yeah,
Where it's shaved on the sides. And then look at his jeans. Of course, he has the one rip on the knee. That looks like he bought it that way. It wasn't like,
He looks like the kid that couldn't even attend detention at the Breakfast Club.
Right, you are. He does. It looks like he should either be that or he'd be the dork in like a bad 80s teen sex romp.
Right. with like a Keanu Reeves, like, whoa.
Yeah. He was the stoner kid that everybody made fun of.
Oh my gosh. And the big question was, did he perm his hair on purpose or was it natural? Because remember, like curly hair for some reason got in the early 80s. And
oh yeah.
And oh my goodness. So I bet he
went. I avoided that. Thank God.
I did too. I did have a mullet at one time, and I was very proud of my mullet, but never did I go and get it permed. And I'm really thinking that Mike went to the salon and got that thing professionally permed. And the pink shirt, but it's not even pink. Like I have nothing against pink, and I'm not gonna make some like wearing a pink shirt joke, but it's this awful shade of pink.
At least go like Miami Vice pink.
Right, exactly.
You know
what is like pink?
Oh, and I just noticed his sleeves are also rolled up. I didn't notice that until now.
But no cigarette pack. No cigarette pack.
No.
It was just to show
fashion.
Cool. Your new arms that were budding into manlyhood. You're like, oh, I can have muscles. I want to roll these things up. I think I did that too. I hate to admit it. All right.
I'm pretty sure his jeans are stonewashed.
Oh, stonewashed.
Acid washed.
Acid washed. Yeah, man. Did you ever have parachute pants? I had parachute pants at one time, and people were like mad jealous. They were hard to get.
There was only one There was one kid in my school, Joey Burke, who's still a good friend of mine to this day. He had parachute pants in 3rd grade. I wanted them so bad. I remember there was a store called the Jones Store, which was later purchased by Macy's. And it's where we did most of our shopping for my school clothes when I was a kid. And in 1983, they had both parachute pants and the Michael Jackson Beat It jacket. You know, the red jacket.
Oh, man, I bet those are worth so much money now.
Yet I wanted one so bad, and my family would not purchase it for me. I won't tell you why, racism, but they would not buy me those clothes, racist mom. But I wanted them so bad.
Oh my gosh. Yep. I remember begging for 80s clothes that I never got. All right, so here's our next one. Speaking of 80s hair.
That's not 80s hair. No, that's like mid 90s. I don't have a lot of photos of me, so that's the earliest one I have.
Mid 90s. Okay, so you don't have any pictures of you out of the 80s, so we'll have to take this. So this is more like you're going into grunge style.
Yeah.
This hair.
I was a full on like goth industrial kid.
Now, what was that like growing up? Tell me what hairstyles rolled in that.
I just didn't cut my hair, and occasionally I'd dye it. I was a lazy goth. Like my hair would, like I wouldn't dye it. So then my friends called me skunk because my roots would grow out, and I'd get the skunk stripe of my roots down the center of my head. So,
what color did you dye it?
Like raven black.
Oh, okay. And then what's your regular hair color?
Medium light brown.
Okay, so yeah, that would be a skunky. So very grunge. I do like the facial hair is kind of the same. The only difference now is you got a lip ring, like you fell into a tackle box or something.
No, but my lip ring's in that other photo. It's just a lot more. It's not as saggy.
Have you had a lip ring that many years?
Yeah, dude.
Damn. All right.
Just since I was 18.
Did you ever get a piercing, Brian?
Oh yeah, well, my ears, both of my ears are pierced to this day.
I remember you wearing an earring, but I don't think you've ever got a facial piercing.
No, I've never had a facial piercing. Not that I have anything wrong with that, but I just
the girls you date all have facial piercings, right?
Yes, they do.
That's what I thought.
They have to pierced up and lots of makeup. That's kind of my thing.
All right. And let's move on to the next picture here. And we have my picture from '86.
Yeah, you almost kind of look like an Ethiopian if they were white in 1986. I'm wondering where the flies are, because it looks like it looks like you have a thatched tin hut behind you.
Well, I like that. I tried to sport an '80s skinny tie. Do you guys? I had a piano tie at one time and all that stuff. And then I couldn't do much with my hair. I did that whole leave a curly boof on the top. Like it gets really bad. And at one time I grew a rat tail. One time in the 80s.
You had a rat tail?
For a short time, like my senior year, I wanted to see if I could do it. And I was like, what am I doing? So the rat tail didn't stay long. This was kind of 80s. I was more into new wave music, and I'd like try to dress like the new wave guys.
You look new wave. You really do. I could see you being like the keyboard player in some new wave band.
Yeah, there you go. And that's what I was going for.
Well, and the good thing about keyboard players in new wave bands is they didn't really have to do all that much.
No, they did not. They just pressed the button.
Yeah. Okay. So it's kind of like what you're doing right now, Tarrin. Not that much.
Exactly. You don't need any talent or skill at all. You'd be good at that, Tarrin. Hey, Tarrin, check your email. I just sent you a picture of me.
Oh, okay.
From about 95, maybe.
Let me see if I can.
I don't have any 80s pictures on my computer is my problem, but I do have from about 95 to about a month ago. So
all right, let me turn back on the screen.
It's a little collage.
And hopefully you guys will get to see this wonderful thing that sent to everyone. And you guys see Brian?
There I am.
That? There you go.
You look like you're like
Oh,
like you'd be recast at your younger age for like a reboot of, was it American Cow Midnight Cowboy?
yeah, you look like you would have been an '80s actor. I can't figure out what that is. Who wore those hats like that in the '80s? Oh, I think.
Midnight
Oh,
Cowboy.
Kevin Bacon from Footloose. That's what's up. Bacon. Footloose. I bet you totally taught your town how to dance. And yeah.
Oh, absolutely, I did. I taught them how to rock for a while. Growing up, they were all very stuffy, and I said, "No, we got to go down to the barn and dance." And everybody was happy in the end, and I won the guy, and it was great.
And
Oh, yeah, that sounds like my life. There you go. That's it. Oh my God, that's funny. And it's funny to think that like Footloose was considered such a revolutionary movie. When you watch it now, it's so bad. Oh my God. Like, have you guys watched the stuff we used to like in the '80s? It was so bad.
It was so
except for
awful.
Stanley Kubrick's movies, man. Except for Stanley Kubrick's movies.
Oh, those were still good, huh? In the '80s.
Yeah.
What was the best one in the '80s?
I think Full Metal Jacket, man.
Oh, was that? Yeah, I didn't realize. I forgot that was him. All right, so let me get some more pictures lined up. We're going to talk about '80s fashion here in a minute. So be ready for that.
I'm glad that I don't remember much of it, because all the nostalgia makes me cringe when I see people getting nostalgic about that. It's like,
Really?
no.
I agree with you, Mike. Like I'm nostalgic for it, but almost in a, I don't know. I think Tarrin and I are both kind of the same way. It was fun at the time, but I wouldn't want Alf to still be on TV. I mean,
Right.
It's just lost its charm. It's not quite as good as it used to be.
Not at all. And there was, this was golden. I was actually in a Facebook debate the other night. I've become that guy of like fighting
so
with people.
you were trolling somebody.
Yeah, absolutely.
No.
But this woman was going off about, these awful millennials and how lazy the kids are, and that television today isn't nearly as good as it was in the 80s, and music today isn't nearly as good as it was in the 80s. And I told her, I said, we're in a golden age of television right now, where television programming is probably the greatest it's ever been. It's bordering on art. I mean, when you look at shows like Breaking Bad and what have you, it's near literature. And I said to her, I said, what do you want? Do you want to return to the days of Alf and Growing Pains?
Right.
And Small Wonder. Don't forget about Small Wonder.
Small
God.
Wonder. Absolutely.
Don't let those words come out of your mouth ever again, Hagen.
Small Wonder, stay wondrous. But she said to me, yes, those were my favorite shows, and that was better programming. And I said, ma'am, we're done here. Good day. And I left because she honestly believed this. I mean, yeah, I have fond memories of all of that. I have great memories, and it's fun to sit here and reminisce and talk about it. But while we're talking about it, we're making fun of it at the same time. And she really, to her, Alf was high art, apparently.
Alf. Oh my God, Alf. I thought that was so funny, and then I watched it again, and I was like, okay.
It's awful.
It's all
awful. Yeah. Oh, it's all terrible. Yeah. Small Wonder is probably the worst piece of crap to ever hit television.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you for finally saying that. We have it on film.
It's so good.
You're welcome.
We have it on film, Tarrin. This man tormented me with that stuff for a week.
What happened is for those of you who don't know, I took my personal Facebook page and I turned it into a Small Wonder fan club page for, I don't know, a month or two. And Mike here would get so angry because whenever he would write me and say, knock this crap off, I would respond to him as a customer service rep for the Small Wonder fan page.
This is wrong.
Vicky loves you. Thank you. Oh, all right.
Thank you for reaching out.
Can you guys see my page again?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So who remembers who this is?
I don't know.
Is that you in the front?
Come on, guys, you should know this.
That's him in the back.
It's the Solid Gold Dancers. One of my favorite
I was
things.
just gonna say.
The Solid Gold Dancers. Now, if you guys don't know what Solid Gold was, it was a vehicle just to basically promote music videos and music singers. And for 30 minutes, they would come out and dance to a song. They'd be like, "Blinded Me with Science" or something, and they would come out and dance like they were robots, and and they would dance to all these different themes. And it was, how do you even describe it, Brian? Help me out here with.
Oh, it was incredibly cheesy.
Sounds awesome.
And I'm trying to think who the hosts were. I know Marilyn McCoo was on there as one of the hosts, but the theme song went Solid Gold, and the voiceover guy would be like, "Solid Gold featuring so and so, Marilyn McCoo," and then it'd be like this montage, and the Solid Gold Dancers, and the camera would pan to these really cheesy dancers, as you can see here on the screen, dressed like in their gold lame and crushed velvet outfits, and they dance around the screen. Bands of the day, and it was a real variety. I mean, you'd have everything from on Solid Gold, and then in between they had these little comedic interludes with a puppet by the name of Madam.
That's right. Madam would come on and talk. And this was a thing in the 80s. They had these variety shows like Star Search with Ed McMahon, where they would also have a comedian that would come out. Do you guys remember this?
Always.
Yeah, they would always have some comedian, and they weren't that good usually.
No, they were usually awful.
Yeah, Star Search, man. And then I guess that was, for you young folk, that's like Our American Idol, I guess. Star Search.
Yeah, I can remember Star Search a little bit now. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's about the same.
It was quite fun. All right, who can tell me who this is?
Oh, that's Cake.
Come on.
Flock of Seagulls.
Yeah.
There you go. Now, I tried to do this in my hair once. It did not go well.
No, that's like so that's kind of like Donald Trump in a wind tunnel.
I think that is Donald Trump. I think he was the leader of Flock of Seagulls.
Now, you guys remember these pants and belts they're wearing? Can you see those things?
Only vaguely.
The really, really skinny belts.
I mean, like, dude, like
ladies' belts.
You know, I'm from like the country south, and like people didn't dress like that down there. You know,
Man, people try to pull this off in my school. Not so good. Not so well.
Not so much where I'm from.
All right, so this is my next favorite thing. The glamour shots. Do you guys remember the glamour shots in the mall?
I remember like the glamour shots, and then like the bangs, like the people that would like their bangs would be like 6 inches off their heads. Women, like they'd like woo. It was like a wave of hair that would come up over their head, and then they would have like the glamour shot. Everything that wasn't their bangs would be like the glamour shot do, and
and women from New Jersey still roll their hair like this. If you see them, they still have this big hair. It's a little more tame. I don't know. This is a pretty out of control picture.
I just remember back in those days, and I knew a gal. She was actually my 8th grade teacher, who was worthless. She was my 8th grade teacher's daughter. She was the first real trashy girl I knew, so to speak. She showed up for school picture day wearing like a short pleather mini skirt, high heels, way too much makeup, and everybody's making fun of her. And I'm going, that's my dream girl. But her hair was remarkably like that. And I remember these girls with the big hair, like in the 80s, they'd sit in class with the cans of hairspray. And, you know, you'd be sitting there dying from all the fumes, and you'd just be watching the freaking ozone layer melt away as the sun is ripping through and destroying all of humanity because of this toxic cloud of hairspray they're using for this terrible, terrible look.
Hello?
Are you still there, Mike?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I think we lost Tarrin somehow.
Oh, well, yeah, this is a horrible photo.
Yeah, it's awful. I mean, look at that hair. Look at that outfit. I don't know what happened. And I don't even know if we're still live here on the...
Are we live?
Tarrin It Up Tuesday night show, but Tarrin, for some reason, has gone. I'm going to ask our viewers here, can you still see us? Are we still on the air, or are we completely gone?
I'm going to post it in the chat.
I think we're completely gone.
And that would fall into not our problem then, right?
Nope. Man, I got this horrible cold.
That sucks, dude.
Yeah, it's awful, man. I think I'm dying. Yeah, they can't hear us. Weird. Oh, we are live.
How are
I've
we?
been told that we're live. We are still? Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, we're just kind of hanging out. I don't know what happened to Tarrin.
All right. Well, I guess we
It's our show now.
like, yeah, like it's our show. So let me see. What do you want to talk about? What's been on your mind lately?
Let's see. I'm going to try to get the link here to bring our friend Corey Moore into the show. Let's see if I can find the link. I think this one is it. Save link as. Now we're going to go through a little bit of technical issues here, and I'm going to send this.
You know, I think Tarrin owes us like a Red Lobster dinner.
Oh, I think you're right. He absolutely does.
Like we didn't sign up for this shit. And now I'm going to start using cuss words because now it's my show.
Yeah.
I'm hijacking the fucking show.
We're not doctors. We don't have reputations to protect, Mike. We can fucking say whatever we want to on Tarrin's channel. Yeah.
Now it's time to troll.
Let's take over the world.
Yeah.
I think Corey, have you joined us here this evening?
I have. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Welcome.
It's Corey Moore.
We have successfully hijacked Tarrin Lupo's show because he doesn't know how to take care of his IT shit, and sucks to be him.
We are here.
I don't even know what my camera is right now.
How does it matter?
I'm just gonna do no camera.
I think the test pattern is perfect.
Yeah, we'll go back to that. There we go.
I like that.
I'm perfect for radio. I'm so ugly.
Pattern, man.
We don't want to see me.
Boom. Everybody watching this Tuesday night edition of Tarrin It Up with Dr. Tarrin Lupo, who is in here now because
Tarrin Lupo's show.
We're tearing this shit up. We've now got our friend Mike here. I'm Brian Hagen, your host, and we have Corey Moore joining us. Corey is very well known for his many years of activism and insight into all things, I would say of human freedom is a good way to explain Corey. He's a good person. He brings a good heart, and he's also wonderful at crochet. Corey, welcome so much to Tearing It Up on this Tuesday night.
It's a pleasure to be here. You know what, though? I bet you Tarrin's got like 8 Google accounts. I just like message all of them, and I bet you that's why he went offline. He's just like checking all of his phones. Every single one.
You're
there
right.
He is.
Hey, I'm back.
Ah, crap. He's back.
I can't believe I can come back in. Awesome. Apparently,
what happened?
I've never had this happen. My internet crashed. I don't know what happened. So I see that I picked up a guest. Apparently.
Yeah.
Is this still live broadcasting? Are people seeing this?
Oh yeah, and for a while there, Tarrin, Mike didn't think we were, so we were just like chit-chatting, and all of a sudden Corey Moore, who now joins us on this Tuesday night edition of Tearing It Up, he's joined our show. If you go back and you watch the recording, we need to apologize, or I'm going to apologize. I'm not going to apologize for Mike, but boy, we let out a string of filth just because we could. So we were like, we're not doctors. We don't have reputations to protect.
Thanks for ruining the show immediately.
I mean, I thought this was a Wheels Off Liberty reunion. Come on. You have to have the filth.
Right.
I mean, nobody knows what homo cards are.
Immediately. I mean, it took you like 2 minutes to go right to the toilet. I was only gone like 2 minutes.
It took
Oh,
him
dude.
22 seconds.
No, yeah, like we just like as soon as we realized that the cat was away, it was just like, let's drive this thing into the ground.
And yeah, somehow we
I'm
picked up Corey.
inviting people.
You know,
Brian,
like
Brian, could
Jamie
you
and
just
Mike.
open up the chat to anyone that wants to come in? You're like, sure, just jump on in with us.
I mean, like Jamie and Mike already did their part to ruin the show. That
Yeah, why
your
don't-
internet connection just gave us permission to run the whole bastard aground.
I can't believe it
Exactly.
keeps streaming with you guys in it without me like doing anything.
Oh,
How
yeah.
does this work? Okay, I'm
Wait
happy.
till you see the video afterwards.
Yeah, it is a disaster. It's a typical Wheels Off Liberty disaster.
Oh, what?
Like the show quits in the middle. This is so typical. We weren't even all the way done with 80s hair and stuff. I got so much more to go through.
Now we have Corey Moore joining us.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, Corey Moore, let's introduce him and let him talk a minute. We used to go on Corey's show. Corey had a live Google Hangout chat show like this for years. And basically, Brian and us and me would go on and ruin that show. Now, so it's his turn to ruin my show. Let's invite him on. Thank you, Corey.
It's good to be here. You know what, though? I was born in '88, so I don't know how much insight I'm going to actually have into this.
Yeah, but you grew up probably with reruns of the 80s.
That's
Like
true.
I was born in the 70s, but I also have born in the 80s. And so like all my I feel like a 70s child because all my TV was reruns, of the 70s. So
Yeah, but the '70s TV was actually good. That's the difference. Like,
all right, what was your favorite 80s TV show?
I honestly don't have one. I don't know. Soap, maybe.
Oh wow,
Soap
Soap
was
was pretty good
great.
actually.
Go
Wow.
right for the intellectual, satirical high ground. That's what Corey Moore does.
Right.
And-
Well, it wasn't my favorite show. Wasn't Stranger Things, dude. Like, come on.
True. But I mean, like Tarrin would sit around on Saturday afternoons and watch Mama's Family, thinking that was high art.
And Hee Haw.
And hey, I love I live
I knew
for
you
Hee-Haw.
would. So
Oh,
tell the guests,
absolutely.
because some of our guests are like 19 that are watching this. What was Hee Haw?
Hee-Haw was a program that was developed, I believe it launched in 1968 or 69, and it was a very lowbrow comedy show focused on rural Americana with country music guests. And it's actually, when you watch it today, it was a little subversive in a lot of the things they talked about. There was a lot of like anti-tax talk, a lot of anti-government talk in these little one-liners that they would do. And they had some phenomenal country music guests on there too. It's a very surreal show. And I love it. I watch it on the RFD TV channel all the time.
They still replay it.
Yes, on RFD TV. That's the Rural Farm channel. I like that channel a lot because
That's a thing.
yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. RFD TV is huge.
What?
In fact, the former owner
You
of
gotta
my
tell
radio
us more about this whole Kansas thing, man. Because
Oh.
I mean, you it's a whole different country out there.
Oh, it is. It's a
Let's not
totally
even get
different
started.
country.
I'm just saying, like, whole different country out there.
Well, RFD TV, it actually is based in Nashville, and it's a nationally syndicated channel. It's on Dish. I have it on Dish Network or Direct or whichever one of the two that I have. And mainly it's all agribusiness news. In fact, the gentleman who used to own the radio station I worked for is now their news director. And you'll turn it on and they'll be talking about the farm report for the day, or they'll be showing a rodeo rebroadcast from last weekend. A lot of interviews with like FFA members. And then on Saturdays, they do a lot of music programming. Like
TV
the
Guide
Marty
by Brian
Stewart
Hagen.
Show. The Marty Stewart Show is on there. They show reruns of the Porter Wagoner Show, which is wonderful. And of course, Hee Haw.
Fucking A, hee haw. Sorry, Tarrin.
It's a family show. Stop it. I was like trying to keep it all so we could podcast it, but now I'm not going to go back and put all the bleeps in.
No, put in bleeps. I'll try to keep it clean.
Apparently that's too
But he
late
said
for
hee
that.
haw. It was hee haw, man.
Oh, did they cuss on Hee Haw?
No, but they should have.
Yeah,
All right,
Blake
Mike, what was your
Clark.
favorite? What was your favorite 80s show, Mike?
in retrospect, Star Trek Next Generation, dude.
Yeah, I guess that was 88 when it came out, right? Or 80,
Yeah,
87? Yeah,
like
it counts.
You know, like my mom was a big Trekkie for the original show, and I was the latchkey kid when I was in elementary school, and you could find the original series in syndication. And when I was 7 or 8, they started putting the new episodes of Next Generation on, and that was the show that I watched growing up. I'm a big Star Trek geek right here.
You know, I'd say Star Trek had a huge impact on a lot of people. That was a huge deal, man, when that first came out. I remember the Next Generation, people were going to say how terrible it was going to be and how it's going to fail, and it ended up being great.
Yeah,
The first season was
I prefer, you know, episodes in the other shows better, but I think that it, you know, for having been off the air for 30 years, it was a darn good reintroduction to and an update to the canon. And so I'm big Star Trek dude.
Can you guys see that Dave's in the chat now and he's talking about the Fall Guy? Do you guys remember Fall Guy?
Oh, the fuck! Because I'm the unknown stunt man.
Yeah.
Oh,
Reynolds looks so fun.
I
That was Heather
loved that
Locklear.
show.
Who was
Yes,
the
Heather
blonde?
Locklear, and
Was it Heather Locklear, or am I thinking? Am I mixing it up with another Heather?
that was the other Heather. Like every
the other
girl
hot
in the 80s,
blonde.
that
Yeah.
was one of the. A lot of people don't realize this, but there was a presidential decree in the 1980s that every girl had to be named Heather in the United States. So if you were named like Barb or Deb, you had to legally change your name to Heather, and you had to bleach your hair blonde. It was just what we did in the 80s. But I don't remember Heather Locklear or Heather something or other, but it was Lee Majors. And yeah, I had, or I probably still have somewhere, a Fall Guy action figure.
wow.
No way.
Yeah.
Heather Thomas.
Heather Thomas,
That's
it.
says.
Oh,
Yeah.
Heather Thomas used to get my blood boiling. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, she was something. Let's
Big hair, blonde.
I'm going to try this screen share again, and we're going to get back to what we were doing before I crashed my computer. So, let's see.
Way to go, dude.
All right, can you guys see this?
Whoa!
Oh dear.
The glamour shots of the 80s.
Oh Lord.
No. Here's the thing here's the thing that you're kind of missing out on, Tarrin.
Yeah.
What about the bad Spencer's birthday cards of the 80s?
Oh man, Spencer's. How much money did you guys spend at Spencer's? Oh, that was like the place to be. I would spend my entire allowance there.
My girlfriend now loves Spencer's, and she's 20 years old.
It's still around?
Spencer. Oh yeah, Spencer's
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
around. It's a little different than it was when we were kids, Taryn. It's gone more from like the adult novelty to more of like the gamer sort of plays. A lot of gamer pop culture sort of items are for sale, and they still have the adult novelties. They still have the adult drinking games and that sort of thing, but it's a little more mainstream than when we were kids.
Yeah, and that was I haven't been to a mall in like 15 years. And so, but Spencer's was a big deal. We would go there and spend our money, and I know what Mike's talking about. It was the one place you could buy adult dirty cards, like dirty jokes and dirty cards.
I'm getting ready to post one to the chat.
All right, well, take a look at this this hair. You guys remember the other glamour shots here? This is more of a Bon Jovi style Poison. Help me out, Corey. You seem like you would have listened to those bands.
Oh, absolutely not.
Winger. Did you listen to Winger?
Hey, Taryn.
Corey's a huge winger.
David
Yeah, man.
Bowie?
Email it to me, Mike. Don't drop it in the chat. I won't find it.
How about this one? Like the main group, like our chat.
Oh, yeah. Or you could just use the screen share feature and just show it if you want.
Kind of looks like David Bowie in the Labyrinth.
It does.
Oh, man, that was a
That's
good movie.
It does look like David Bowie in Labyrinth, and the other person looks like one of the Skeksis or whatever from Dark Crystal.
But you know, and also mixed with a healthy helping of a Tesla coil.
That's funny.
Yeah, definitely a Tesla coil.
All right, now let's get down
Whoa.
to the real 80s business here.
Physical.
All right, so aerobics, for you guys that don't know this, aerobics were kind of new in the 80s. People didn't do them until I mean, there was some shows on like, on TV, but they weren't popular way back in the 50s and 60s. But this, man, aerobics took off with Jane Fonda and spandex, like full body spandex. People would walk around this like they were outfits. And if you'll notice, this one woman has a belt with her spandex, like in case so it won't fall down. Just to keep it up. And then, yeah, these women, this was totally allowed fashion anywhere you went. It's kind of like the yoga pants of today.
The belt that she's wearing is actually kind of tasteful. Usually they were much wider than that and a completely different color than the rest of the spandex that was being worn.
Yeah, I'm trying to find.
Good Lord, what do we have now?
I know this is a family show, but Tarrin, could you keep that up for a second? The girl on the right totally has a camel toe going on
she
right
needs
there.
Safety toe. She needs safety toe. Did you guys watch that story I posted this week about George Lowe, where he took my phone and he did a whole commercial for Safety toe?
No,
right. Of course not. Do I ever watch anything?
No, you don't. You guys don't ever watch my damn channel.
No.
So I posted something, and it was the creator. You know the guy that does the voice for Space Ghost Coast to Coast, and he's an Aqua Teen Hunger Force, and he does like commercials. Well, I met this guy, and we were talking one day, and he took my phone and left a message on it, and he did this whole thing. It was like an infomercial for Safety Toe, and it was all to protect you from camel toe coming out of the water. So you need to go look at that. It just came out like 2 days ago on my channel, Safety Toe. Anyway,
someday I'm just gonna have to binge watch your channel. I'm gonna have to get really drunk and binge watch it.
Because
start with the Mandela Effect video. I mean, he's totally off the rocker. I'm telling you.
Don't start that talk here, or you'll get yelled at.
Hagen, you'll need the alcohol to maintain any sort of measure of self-respect.
This is true. That's how I live my life. I'm wasted right now.
So that would have been in the 80s.
More glamour shots here, and we're going to talk about keyboards. So keyboards first started coming out that you could actually afford one.
Corey, did you say that would have been you in the 80s?
Yeah, I did.
That was Corey right there. Now I really prefer the keytar. The keytar was more cool. You guys remember those things?
The keytar was amazing. It was a keyboard that had a guitar. What do you call it? Yeah, it had the guitar.
But it's still just a keyboard.
That's all it was.
It's a keyboard.
It was just a keyboard that you wore like a guitar.
And
it was awful.
Keyboard this kid's holding probably cost $2,000 back then. Probably easily. Look at all the features.
Yeah, that was an expensive one. You're right. I'm seeing all these. You could probably sample your voice on this.
That's why he has it in a picture with him, because it was so damn expensive.
I mean, that's like his school photo.
No, that's probably his funeral photo.
People don't realize
keyboard.
how expensive electronics used to be. I remember a VCR being like $2,000 when they came out, and a TV was like a little, 19-inch TV was like $700. It was ridiculous.
My dad bought our first VCR in probably 1980 or 81, and it was an investment in our family. I mean, it was a JVC top loader with the corded remote control 4-head. This thing was the Cadillac of VCRs in that day, and I think it cost my dad probably $1,000.
Wow.
And that was on sale. I remember he waited until it came on sale, and he bought it from this store, Dalton's, which was very popular here in the Midwest. And they were talking about the 80s. This is something that we'll never go back to. These days are completely dead, but it was an interesting time. It was one of those showroom stores. I don't know if you guys remember those or not.
Yeah.
Where you would go in, they would have the whole back room of nothing but electronics. You could listen to stereos. You could try on headphones. You could watch the TVs. A salesperson would tell you, what features were available. You would then order it. And instead of just getting the box right there, you then had to take your little ticket up to a counter, and there'd be this conveyor belt that would bring your item out to you.
Oh yeah, the Circuit City thing where you'd actually, they wouldn't have anything that could get stolen up front. You'd have like a little ticket you'd take back and they'd bring it to you.
Exactly.
I forgot about that. Circuit City, yeah.
Yeah, it was a remarkable time.
Oh man,
But
yeah, you had me
being able to go in and listening to the electronics. When
What
like
about? Do you guys remember record stores? Like how much you would go in and just sit and listen for hours?
I used to manage a record store, dude.
Well, tell us about that
Did
experience.
you
'Cause
really?
people don't know what that is anymore. They don't realize that you'd like go in and you listen to a whole album to see if you want to buy it, and they'd get all mad at you if you hung out all day listening.
Yeah. I managed a music store. I worked and managed at a music store for about 5 years in Florida, and we would have a listening station for CDs, and my store in particular, like I worked at a very interesting time in the industry where people were transitioning from like vinyl and CD into digital music. Like it was like right at that cusp when the iPod first came out, and everybody was really scared about like, what are we going to do? We're going to be put out of work because they'll just go to whatever, you know? And vinyl sales killed it, man. Like vinyl sales are where it's at in the music industry today. That's where you're going to have your audience. That's what I love selling. Like there's something very physical about, you know, like before you buy something, you pull it out and you inspect it, make sure the vinyl is all cool. And it's just very sensual. Like I think it's like, that's music. Like that to me is music, is vinyl. And I was lucky enough.
I agree completely there. Whoa, my goodness. There is something very different about that vinyl. And that was something popular in the 80s. Then the CD came out in like 85 with
and it just depersonalized it.
It depersonalized it completely.
And the artwork sucked on CDs compared to the vinyl. And the vinyl was cool, but I remember just being like, no one's going to use CDs. I'm never buying these things. I'm staying with cassettes.
Me too.
But now,
cassettes.
But the problem now with vinyl is that if you want to buy anything, it's going to cost you like $100.
Really?
Yeah,
it's that expensive now?
Yeah, it's like everybody wants to make the 180 gram vinyl, which is gorgeous. Like there's a reason why they make it 180 grams, but you wind up spending like $40 for a record.
Wow.
And like that's. But at the same time, though, you get the fucking artwork. Like they've kind of recaptured what it means to listen to vinyl right now, and like versus like in the 80s when it was just that's all we had, that's all we knew. But now that
I was going through my dad's old album collection, and it was awesome. All the artwork was incredible. Like I was like, man, this stuff sinks now.
You know, I think that CDs cheapen that, you know, to a certain extent, because then you only got, you know, like what 3x5 inches or 4x5 inches or whatever. But I think now like vinyl's kind of re-emerging as the venue for like look at the David Bowie album Black Star. So this is and like all the hidden messages that are encoded in the artwork. And that's the cool thing that we have now. Like now we've developed alternative reality games, where in the 80s they didn't know what that was. They didn't know what the internet was and what our, you know, alternative reality games were. But like now we get that, but we still get to engage in the nostalgia of a medium that some would say has long since left its necessity. But that's the cool thing about vinyl.
I don't mean to interrupt, but can you guys see my screen yet? Because of this is the picture Mike sent. This is
I see it.
This was the no. This is what the Spencer's cards look like. We were talking about Spencer's. This was a Spencer birthday card, right?
Yep, that's
That's
Edith
the 80s cards.
This is Edith Massey. She was a well-known actress in John Waters movies.
Oh
yeah.
And she died within the last year, I think. And I, you know, she brought my life a lot of fucked up joy. Because like all those movies she was in were just wonderful and awful simultaneously. And it was that to me was a sad day. And I just learned yesterday that this is, I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Pink Flamingos.
John Waters.
Yep, but the dude that had sex with a chicken died yesterday.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Chicken effer.
Yeah, chicken effer died.
Oh,
so you know, like
chicken banger in the world.
Like you know, like pour beer out for the chicken effer. You know, for your homie. Not that I'm a chicken effer, but.
We'll get into that when we do. We need to do a whole segment on Tromaville movies. Tromaville had that poultry guy and all the chicken stuff. All right, so let's take a look at this next picture. Do you guys have any idea who this is?
Wow.
I'm not
Oh,
sure.
New Kids on the Block? I don't know.
What?
Sounds
No.
awful. It looks awful.
I think it was actually a fashion catalog shoot. I don't think it's an actual band. I
You
can't
know,
tell.
I like the guy on the right, those extremely short shorts and that belted shirt looking thing.
And it's hanging
And-
down. What is that other thing hanging down on his
I
leg?
don't know.
He's
It's
got like a
he had-
bathrobe on.
Hey, Corey, it looks like he cut his bathrobe off and then like tied the belt and then added another belt up way too high along his waistline. I miss this is a look that I miss. Jackets with no shirts underneath.
I
I want to bring that look back.
I don't think. I think Siegfried and Roy have always ordered from the same catalog.
Well, I don't see anyone wearing bejeweled cod pieces though, right? Don't Siegfried and Roy, they wear like cups over their junk that are all bedazzled. Like,
They order those separately, but the actual outfits. Oh, I love the dude in yellow here. Look at his sandals.
and
He's
you know,
wearing
he rolled up his pants.
Yeah, the pants are pinch rolled.
What is
He's
that
wearing
necklace?
sandals. That's a bandana he's got tied
Oh,
around
is that
his
what
neck.
that
I think it's a
is?
bandana.
Oh my gosh.
I just thought it was a giant thing of AIDS.
Too soon. It's the 80s, man. All right, here we go. Here is the belt you were talking about, where they started using it like a girdle.
That's it.
It
Yes, that's the belt.
looks like a back
They
brace
weren't
too.
leather. They were like this. It does, and they were like this really cheap plastic. So, like after they wore them a couple of times with their leotards, they'd start cracking and just look
Yeah,
really
And the love
tacky and
handles
awful.
would stretch them.
Yeah,
So have that, and then let's not forget about this very important part you had to have.
Yeah.
You guys see the leg warmers?
Leg warmers were all the rage.
I think someone tried to bring that back. I think they still try to do that.
You know, I'm just really glad that like my social
Um,
circle, like my family, like this impacted none of our. Like we were just a bunch of poor white people, you know, like just trying to scrape by. It's
Did we lose him? Mike?
Oh, Mike got a short on the old mic.
Okay, I thought I crashed again. All right.
No, you didn't.
Hello?
You're there.
Yeah,
Mike's got
Mike
a
and his
short. There he is.
headset that he refuses to get. All right.
Are you?
Let's take a look at this outfit.
Oh,
This was a
good.
time where you were allowed to wear basically a bathing suit in public. Do you guys remember this?
I do
What were they
remember
called?
that.
Bodysuits, right? Yeah, I can hear you,
bodysuits.
Mike.
Yeah, Mike's back now.
All right.
Bodysuits. You're right.
Bodysuits that
And-
she has
and it's-
bangles on her wrist.
Oh, look at those
The
bangles. Look at those
bangles.
earrings. Those earrings are huge, and she's wearing like a denim jacket over a bathing suit with the biggest hair that you could ever imagine.
It's
Only in the
fabulous.
80s could you get away with this look.
go big
I-
or go home. Go big or go home.
You're right, and everything was bigger in the 80s. It was like I recently discovered that I have saved is it J.C. Penney's or Sears catalog from 1980. And it's wonderful going back through that catalog and looking at all of the fashions. Everything was brown. What was that about? Like the early 80s, everything was earth tone. And just everything. And it wasn't like a khaki looking earth tone. It was like everything looked dirty. Everything looked like it needed a good scrubbing. I don't like I'm looking at this gal right here. It just looks like she hasn't showered for weeks. Just everybody in that era looked like they just smelled and reeked of body odor.
I
It was
go
all the
back.
cocaine.
It was a cocaine
Yeah,
hell of a
right.
drug.
Cocaine.
Hell of a drug.
You're right.
Cocaine
You know what, Corey? That's a really good point because, like, I'll use Waylon Jennings as my example. You know, the country music great. He was a cokehead, and he wouldn't shower for weeks at a time because he said it ruined his high if he took a shower. And I think a lot of people were like that. Everybody was coked up and not showering. What's this picture?
Is that Waylon Jennings?
This one for Corey. I'll put this one up. This was actually wrestlers in the 80s. There was a pair of wrestlers.
I bet someone wanted to be a wrestler in the 80s. Tarrin.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's
Trevor, I
true.
bet your outfits match this better than me. Look at those boots. The boots are kind of cool, though.
I like
No,
those
they're
boots.
not. No, they're not.
Those are great. I'd wear those boots. And they're wearing like Speedos, and they're like twins. Twins were a huge thing in the
Oh,
80s too. Like
I forgot
that
about
was a
that.
novel. Like that was always like like in sitcoms. There was always some wacky subplot dealing with twins. I don't know what the deal was there. Some eugenics program. I don't know. But
I think you all are arrested by nostalgia.
Oh no,
I'm
80s
arrested
had a
by
lot
drugs.
of. I mean, even the double mint commercials and
Yeah.
the twins were everywhere, and there was always that plot line where you switched and you dated with the wrong twin, or you go out and
Yes.
they play games with people, and then there would always be the one where somebody has to decide which one to shoot.
Yes.
Which one is it? Which one is it? And
Yeah,
they'd always
you're-
shoot the wrong guy.
You're right. I don't know what the hang up was with twins in the 80s, but just like that, a wrestling duo that are twins.
Yeah.
You guys didn't choose the right TV shows to watch. I'm just saying that.
Yeah, we did.
We
right.
were as mainstream could come when it comes to TV.
Yeah, I mean, come on. All I watched was like A-Team and Riptide and
Yeah.
and Fantasy Island.
Oh, absolutely. The plane.
I still watch Fantasy. I still watch all those shows. Thank God for Cody. Cody's like
Yeah,
the best download thing ever.
Greatest thing ever. I can sit and have like little Three's Company marathons anytime I want.
God, this is awful.
What, this picture? You don't like this one?
No, Three's Company marathons.
Oh, come
you
on.
better-
Three's
you better
Company was
watch
the
yourself.
best.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's
Yeah.
the greatest thing
Oh.
ever.
You're in the minority
on.
there, son.
Come and knock on our door, Mike.
Come and knock
They-
at our
No.
door.
They
No,
just
you
have
guys-
to or
Like you
mail
guys would be the worst neighbors. I don't want to be anywhere near you.
We'd be great neighbors. What are you talking about?
I've got one word for you, Mike.
Stay away.
Jim J. Bullock.
Stay-
Oh, Center Square. Yeah, he was always
Yeah.
on. What did he start on that show with the dude from Caddyshack?
Too close for comfort.
Too Close for Comfort. How could I forget that? Yeah, he's a cartoonist.
Where there was that wacky episode where he got raped, and it was played for laughs. Nothing funnier than playing rape for laughs.
I
Yeah,
forgot about.
Are you guys
Yeah,
talking about
because,
that Different Strokes episode?
No, no, that's different.
No,
rape.
but
This is that was child rape.
That's
This
a
is
different
gay
rape played for laugh. Yeah,
Gay
yeah.
rape.
This was
So Jim J. Right, they because you could rape a gay person and that was considered okay in the 80s. That was
Yeah.
funny, but not that would. I just can't imagine the stuff that is in 80s shows are so offensive.
it's
like
so
you
awful.
just couldn't get away with it today. It's horrible. I was
what
watching
happened?
Night Court and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe what they were saying.
Oh, the sexism in Night Court is just appalling now. It's crazy. but yeah, Too Close for Comfort. It starred Ted Knight, who was on the Mary Tyler Moore Show, and then in Caddyshack, like you mentioned, and he was a newspaper cartoonist. And he lived with his two daughters and his wife, and they had a neighbor that was portrayed by Jim J. Bullock, who is a homosexual in real life, and who was also very popular on Hollywood Squares. Like you said, he was Center Square. Well, there was an episode, he played a straight guy on this show, and I mean, his sexuality was straight, and he was always like into the two girls or whatever. But he went on a date with some gal, and she brought her friend along, and they ended up raping him. And it's played for laughs. It's horrible. It's sick. It's twisted. And you watch it today and the laugh track is going and you think it has to be some sort of a satire making fun of our cultural ideas on this sort of thing.
Wow.
No. It was actually played for real laughs that he got raped.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
That wasn't the Different Strokes episode that we've talked about. Me and Brian have talked about this Different Strokes episode for like 10 times. It seems like we can't have a show without bringing up this damn bicycle shop.
I'm sorry, I didn't know.
What I'm wondering is like, well, where do we find the cake and cookies after a story like that? You know,
Oh my God.
let's celebrate rape.
Yeah,
Where's
it's
the
wacky.
where's the punch?
It's so fun.
I think 80s shows all did it. Like one of their characters would usually get saved or attacked or something, but I think they all did it for ratings because it would always be a big show.
Oh, absolutely. Just like the Bicycle Shop episode of Different Strokes, which was a very special episode.
The pedo episode?
What?
The pedo episode?
Yes, that's exactly it. Oh, look, I'm taking my shirt off. Let me give you horsey rides. Of course, you're always trying to do that to me too, Mike. And it's like it never fails. I open up my phone or I open up my Facebook, and there's Mike going, "You want to have a horsey ride tonight?" And I'm like, "No, man."
Well, he wrote up on Different Strokes. It worked.
But that's only so I can hang out with your mom, dude.
Oh, here we go.
You're the gatekeeper. You're the gatekeeper.
My mom only gives horsey rides for $50 an hour. So either you pay out or you get nothing.
Like
pay out, she don't put out. It's as simple as that.
I have gainful employment.
Oh my goodness. All right. So before we leave the topic of the 80s, because I'm sure it'll come up again. It always seems to come up all the time on our.
Always.
I want to talk, and I usually don't talk politics at all anymore, but I don't understand what's going on. And Hagen, since you actually are a reporter on the news and stuff, what is this whole Women's March, and what are people so mad about? I'm going to show some pictures in a little bit of this, but give me some background. What the heck happened?
Well, honestly, it's and Corey, I'm going to call Corey in on this because Corey always is great at helping me out on these sort of discussions. So I'm glad you're here tonight, Corey. The Women's March, and I think if I'm correct, it happens every year. It was on the anniversary of Roe versus Wade. So it's an annual tradition. It just happened because of the political climate in which we're in, with Cheeto Man being in the White House now. I mince no words on that, but there's definitely a lot of talk about what effects policies from this administration are going to have on women's issues, LGBT issues, gay rights issues, and all of those issues. So the media put a very heavy concentration and a very heavy focus on the Women's March this year. It also, I think, drummed up a lot of newcomers to the march that normally don't come. So it's not a new event. It was just a more on event than it has in the past. Am I right on all that, Corey, or did I just make all that up?
Like, I pay attention to anything anymore.
Sounds right. You're better off. You're better off these days not paying attention to much. But the thing is, and it's like anything. The Women's March, I personally, and I'm going to ask your opinion on this, Sansone, because I know you and I differ a little bit on some of the issues. But Mike, I wanted to ask you what you thought about the march itself. I think, this is my opinion, I think that you had a lot of well-meaning women who went there, who wanted to call attention to their issues. Yes. But then, of course, you also had the very extreme, the very fringe ones wearing the vagina costumes. And
hey, I was just going to get to those pictures. Hold on.
And the vagina had some pictures up there. And, of course, that's what gets focused on. And it's like anything. It's always the extreme that takes the focus.
Well, one, we are 4 dick swingers talking about women's issues.
Of course, how else would this be to not have a woman?
And,
what do women have to say about this?
What do you expect out of us?
We have to make your decisions for them. We can't expect them to do it themselves.
But
God,
the basic, like more than anything, I thought that there wasn't a clear goal. It was like, we have vaginas and we hate Donald Trump. And like that to me is an ineffectual political movement. It's like, yes, who doesn't want women's rights? Who doesn't want that? Like
Donald Trump.
Yeah, that's a good point. And a lot of his followers.
So, gentlemen, reactions to this picture.
This is awesome.
I think it's dumb.
No, I think this is awesome.
Tell me what you think.
I think it's fun.
Is it Halloween?
I don't know if it makes a real political statement, but I think it's fun. I
do like how
that is the political statement, right?
Their heads are placed in the exact right area, apparently.
Yeah, that's so true.
And they're different colors. Their mons are different colors, and their labia. It's quite well done.
Red and yellow, black and white.
I think any
All
time
colors
you
here.
put on a vagina costume is a good day for America.
Yeah. All right. So, what do your reaction to this? Because people always talk about if women are in the world.
There would be no wars.
What do you think
just a
here?
bunch of countries not talking to each other.
I can't speak to that with my current partner. No, like that's not even
Does
a
that hit
thing.
home for you?
Not even a thing.
Well, I will say this, and Mike, I want to go back to you. I think you made a good point. And I think that's a good discussion to be had. What was the political outcome? And I know what you said too, Corey, but I think that's a good discussion. What isn't a good discussion is what has happened through much of this is the outright misogyny that I have seen.
Absolutely. Like this is the important thing is that there should be a discussion on these things. And the moment that people like you or me that see individuals possessing rights, see other individuals having their rights infringed upon, that's when we start like flapping our arms about and screaming from the rafters. And I just haven't quite seen that yet. It's only day 2. And that's not to say it's not going to happen. And when it does happen, that's when we all have to start flapping our arms around to support, our fellow, American human being or whatever.
Well, take a look at this picture. All right. Can you guys see the next one coming up here where I'm talking? Now, I want your reaction to this. Do women who dress in vaginas, where it says respect earned by marching in huge vagina costumes? What's your opinion on this?
I wouldn't respect them because like if they couldn't talk cogently about the issues that they're passionate about with logic and evidence, then I would have no respect for them just because they put a costume on. Like I'm putting a costume on right now, like that's.
Corey, what do you got on this?
I mean, most people don't even think about politics in the terms of logic and reason or anything for that matter. That's just
right.
Not how the human mind works. And I study the human mind. So, but as far as looking at this, I either way, I don't think there's a problem with not respecting people wearing vagina costumes. It's just
they're exercising their right to speech, which I inherently respect.
Right.
Always.
Yeah, and Mike, I think that's a good point you bring. Regardless of the nuances of why it's being done, what I haven't liked, what I've seen over the past few days, are people basically saying they had no right to do that. Whether or not
go out there, like I love a healthy protest, but if you're out there protesting women's rights, well, where were you when Obama was brokering, arms loans to the Souths? I just kind of go like, let's put things in perspective here. But anyway, that's not the scope. We're not trying to take things down dark roads on this show. This is supposed to be a
we're supposed
show.
To be keeping. I just thought I'd get some cheap laughs by putting vagina pictures up. Clearly, you guys really want to turn it into a political debate.
Back to the
Sorry.
I was going for the easy money on this, but
no. Easy money.
But I can't ever just like stick something up with a bunch of Liberty people and not have it turn into this.
Man, I think Mises once said you have to grab him by the pussy.
Oh my gosh. All right. Let's look at this one. I'm just going to throw some others because people don't realize that, we don't like any politicians. So it's not like we're Trump or we're left or right. We don't like anyone. This is a pretty funny sign. Not what I was going for, though. This one's pretty funny, too. We shall overcome. Fair. Legit. We shall
no, back to that flock of seagulls, Tarrin. Back to the flock of seagulls.
That's what I thought. And this one, these are the signs that don't understand, that have the same as rights as guns. So what is it? Do women want to be like not allowed in a certain states and not allowed in the government buildings and not allowed to?
No, but here's the major logical.
They don't want that.
Raise hand. Here's the major logical fallacy: is that guns don't have rights because they're not people.
Yeah, but I was trying to set up a good joke that you cut off. But all right, go ahead.
Yeah, well, that's how I roll. I was actually thinking about this earlier. It's like guns don't have rights because guns are property.
So does that mean that vaginas are going to have background checks now?
Yeah. There is a 7-day waiting period. Yes.
You have to get like an
And
FBI background check every time you.
Well, I want women to have rights, and guns don't
Well-
have rights. Only the owners of those guns have or do not possess rights. So,
Well, yeah,
like,
you're right, Mike, and I saw it. But again, I think it comes down to the fact that just so many Americans are uneducated and take a team mentality on politics. Going back to what you
Right.
said, where were they, when Obama was doing this? And I think that's a very valid point and a very valid question. But I think it's also giving people too much credit, because when their team is in power or their team is at the top, there tends to be this human this human idea that we ignore those problems and only focus on the other team. And it's awful the way it is, but that's just the way it is. And I don't know how we change that. And Tarrin, go take a bathroom break or something, because we're going to get really really political now.
yeah, no, I want to like ram the
All
show
right,
into
all
the
right.
ground again. Like Taryn steps away and
wait
we
a
just
sec.
ruin the show again.
There's some people in here that are serious, like they're listening to the chat and they're saying, "Are we serious that that women are treated like second-class citizens?" And it's an actual woman asking this. So I mean, I think today, yeah, it's still not even. I mean, there's still a lot of sexism out there, but I would think it's gotten way better
Oh yeah.
from I can remember. I still
No,
feel bad,
okay,
but,
so
but you know what? It's kind of reversing. Men are getting discriminated on a lot of stuff now. It's starting to change. Like, men don't have the same rights as women on some things. Especially like when it comes to divorce or children.
Is that true though? I mean,
Oh,
I can
man.
split divorce in
Yeah, with
children.
the mom, it's like something like 80% of the women always get the kids in the divorce. It's still really high. I don't think it's 50-50.
But here's my point. I want to say this, and I think this is the big crux of the matter, personally speaking. This is what I think is so important, is being proactive. Regardless, say, is it the same or isn't the same? That's a whole other topic. But I think what the women who did this march, at least, even if they don't consciously know it, this is what they accomplished. They put the spotlight on the issues. We have an administration coming in that is an incredibly questionable administration. I don't care where you stand politically. It's a questionable administration. There's this huge back and forth. One day it's this policy. This day it's this policy. There are major distractions being thrown out for the American people. We don't know what this.
Hold on. Brian, we're getting complaints that we went from comedy to a political show. So what's up?
Oh,
finish it out.
Right.
we'll see.
Wrap it up.
Okay, what I was going to say is,
where we
I was
break
gonna-
the cane out? We get the cane out.
oh, somebody spanked me.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
save that for my personal life. But no, all I was gonna say is I think it's good when people are proactive and they say, hey, you know what? We're watching you, government. We're gonna make sure that these laws aren't passed that could, infringe upon our liberties as individuals. There, I'm done. I'm not wearing any freaking pants.
There you go. We're moving it along, because this is not as political as I wanted. I'm sure, we can't ever really get through a show without it turning that corner at the end. We when me and Brian also had a show that was on what was it on, Ron Paul Network or something? The Liberty Cats.
On Ron Paul Radio. Yeah.
And we'd basically have 45 minutes, and then we'd try to cram some sort of real statement in the last 5 minutes, some sort of political statement. And that's it. So we're done. Otherwise than that is what other topics? Let's see if we can get one from the chat room. What would you guys like us to talk about? And we will be happy to entertain it.
Yeah, we'll talk about anything. I mean, if you want me to spread some recipes your way, I'll do that. If you want me to tell you about my sex life, I'll do that.
Please
don't.
Let's not do that.
No.
It's illegal in like 6 states.
I can bring out pictures if you want.
Tarrin, please don't die.
You made me snort. Why did you say that when I was drinking? Oh, okay. I'm almost done.
Let's watch Taryn choke to death live on
Yes.
Yeah.
Worldwide
First
TV.
live stream
I'll do anything
on
for
YouTube.
ratings.
Death.
The
You've earned
ratings.
it, sir. You've earned this.
Oh my.
They're just from space.
All right, so yeah, they want to talk about midgets.
Midgets.
I don't know if we're allowed to say midgets anymore, though. I don't
No,
think.
you're
Little
not
people.
allowed.
Or
Little
dwarf.
Yeah, I don't know when that went out, but you know, in the '80s, oh my gosh, did you guys remember that? It was a movie about a bunch of midgets taking over a hotel somewhere. What's it called? Somewhere under the rainbow.
Under the Rainbow, starring Carrie
Under the
Fisher.
rainbow. Who was it?
The late Carrie Fisher was in that movie, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I can't believe she died. What is up with Princess Leia dying?
That
Cocaine.
is yeah, exactly. Cocaine is a hell of a drug, and years later it comes back to play hard on your heart. No, it was very sad though to watch Carrie Fisher. This past year was a very, and I don't want to blame the year like so many people were doing, but man, we lost a lot of greats in 2016. And Carrie Fisher being one of those. And you're right, Tarrin, that movie Under the Rainbow, who else was in that? Was it
Chevy Chase or no?
I think it was Chevy Chase.
Yeah, maybe. And so if you guys didn't realize that in the '80s you could make fun of midgets and call them midgets, and then I had a midget that was a friend of mine, and I felt really bad about that. So I try to use little people now, and although we probably joke a little too much about midget porn. But it's hard to say little people porn. It doesn't carry the same punch.
It doesn't carry the same punch. And when it comes down to the world of porn, anything goes. You don't have to be politically correct at all. In fact, I think most of the performers will tell you they don't want you to be, because that kind of takes away the selling point of the porn. But Under the Rainbow is a 1981 American comedy starring Chevy Chase, Carrie Fisher, Eve Arden, and Billy Barty. And it was all about a remake of The Wizard of Oz. They were casting a remake of The Wizard of Oz, and like a mystery breaks out, and all of these little people are running all over the place, and it's all played for laughs, and it's all played at their expense. But
you couldn't get away with that now.
No, but in the 80s,
whole movie just makes fun of midgets the whole time.
Like we said, in the 80s, you can make rape a punchline in like any sitcom. So why not make fun of midgets?
Yeah, it was.
And it was even funnier if it was midgets getting raped.
You're exactly right.
The trifecta on that one.
Yeah, and especially if a midget was raped by a puppet, that was the brilliant.
No, Elf, no.
Yeah. Hey, Willie, watch me rape this midget.
In the chat room, Kate brought up a good point. Is what's up with all the stalker themes in the '80s? Now, you know, as we're growing up and we're learning how to relate to women, they have all these movies like Body Double, or you know, these movies where what now would be considered total stalking was considered romantic back in the day, like where a guy follows a girl he just meets, and he's like, you know, leaving stuff at her doorstep and taking pictures and watching her, and then they end up getting together in the end. Guys, I want your take on stalking in the '80s.
Stalking in the 80s, it was, you're exactly right. That seemed to be a real theme. Well, you had the big Police song, Every Breath You Take, which was all about stalking. So it was in like all parts of pop culture. But you're right. It played a role in so many different shows and movies. And so much of the time it did. It ended that way. Well, look at General Hospital, the TV show, the soap opera. You had stalking and you had rape. And what ended up happening after Laura was stalked and raped by Luke, they ended up falling in love and getting married. So the lesson from the 80s was, if you want a woman, stalk and rape them, and eventually they'll be your wife.
And it's true. I mean, that's literally, I know we're joking about that, but that theme is all over the 80s movies. It is, if you watch it, you really go back and watch, it's creepy now. You're like, I can't believe people thought this was a romantic movie.
Do you guys want to know my thoughts on stalking and rape in the 80s? I was 8.
Yes, but you've watched reruns. So
thing on my mind when I was 8. I wanted to play Super Mario Brothers.
What Taryn's not telling you, this is how he met his first wife. So
yeah, that's the only moves I knew back in the 80s.
Quaaludes.
It's terrible, but that was a big theme. The creeper was a big theme. I definitely I just remember
Asian creepy guy.
What did you say?
The super smart creepy Asian guy. That was a real trope from those days too.
Oh yeah, like in Revenge of the Nerds, the Asian dude that could do everything, to build the robots or whatever, and Long Duck Dong.
Yes,
16
yes,
Candles.
yes. 16 Candles, I think, is the archetype of all the stereotypes of the 1980s. I mean, you had like borderline rape being played out for laughs. You had stalking played out for laughs. You had theft of women's underwear played out for laughs. You had racism played out for laughs. You had incest played out for laughs. 16 Candles is probably the most disturbing, disgusting movie ever made when you break it right down. It's absolute dumpster fire of a movie, yet we still look at it as some sort of a classic. It's hilarious to me.
Oh, and
Well,
I
it's
haven't.
because everybody wanted to watch Molly Ringwald, right? That was her name, right?
Oh, yes, yes.
She was
yes,
strangely
oh,
hot.
boy.
You know,
She
I
was.
couldn't.
I wouldn't say strangely. I mean, she was.
I
really.
didn't really. I don't know. I kind of went back and forth on her. It wasn't
I
until
did
later
too.
that I
Like,
started really digging gingers, and then then it changed. But
Well, and as Molly Ringwald got older, I mean, it's like a lot of us. With age, she just became really pretty. Like, I didn't think she was super pretty when she was younger, but man, as she got older, and yeah, I mean, I thought she just got gorgeous. Even recently, pictures I've seen of her, she's beautiful.
Hagen, put your pants back on.
I never wear pants.
Like he has pants on.
yeah, I don't even think he owns pants. He works in radio.
The big question is, it's not a matter of if I'm wearing pants. It's a matter of where's my hand.
Hand check.
Right here. There it is.
Oh,
Grippy.
Was that a thing in the 80s? I remember, like, when I was in high school, that was a thing. Hand check. Did you guys have to do hand checks?
Tell us
No,
about
I don't know
that.
what that
Catch us up.
Yeah, what's a hand check?
Oh, I don't know. I was in marching band, so like when we traveled at night to like different places, like we had to do hand checks, but like band people were like notoriously for. Yeah, you'd have to like show your hands like in the middle of the ride to show you guys.
Oh, because you're all on a bus and they were getting
Yeah.
candies in the back of the bus. and
Right.
stuff.
Right.
I heard some serious things went down in band. I mean, I know people think band nerds are like, band nerds, but they had a lot of sex, man. The people I knew in the band all were pretty partiers. I was surprised.
Oh, so we're altar boys.
I did not know this. Altar boys. Oh my God.
Sitting here still angry. I mean, now I've got all these repressed memories coming back as we're sitting here talking about these sort of things. I was very active in the Catholic Church when I was a young man.
That explains a lot.
I was a server every single Sunday, and I would go and I would put the little vestment on, and those things were heavy. I don't know if you guys ever wore them or not, but man, and for a sweaty fat kid like me, it was just absolutely awful. It was like being in a little sauna. And I remember all of the times that the priest would help me put it on because they were really difficult to put on. Never once did his hand just stray a little bit. Never once did
Oh dear.
Never once did I get a warm embrace in loving priest love. So to this day, I really still wonder, and this is really a deeply dark, repressed thought of mine. What was wrong with me to where all the other kids were getting priestly love and I got nothing? But it's very typical for my life. I do all of the hard work. I'm the one out there sweating. I'm the one lighting the candles, and some other kid is the one in the back getting diddled by the priest.
That's wonderful, Brian. It's a goal to reach for. But I kind of understand getting your feelings hurt by that you don't get creeped. There was when I went to elementary school, I was in chorus as well as band, and our teacher kept inviting kids over to his house to go swimming. And then later on, he got busted with this. He had a hidden camera, and he was taking pictures of the kids changing in his house.
Jesus Christ.
And he got busted.
Seriously?
And, he just disappeared one day out of our school. And what happened is I was like the only kid in class he never invited to his house. I was like, what's wrong with me? It kind of hurts.
Well, clearly, Tarrin, what's wrong with you is that you're scraping YouTube for personalities alike of me and Brian. That's what your problem is.
What has happened to my life?
What is like it was just forward. Like that should have been a beacon. And how bad things were gonna get.
If only you were molested, you'd be living in a mansion right now, having some sort of a fancy schmancy dinner party with cocktails.
But instead he gets to talk to us.
Oh,
yeah,
my God.
exactly. If
What a
only you
sad,
had been
sad
touched
life.
inappropriately.
Oh man, yeah. This was supposed to also be like a catch-up show to find out what Mike and Jamie had been doing for the last 5 years, and I haven't seen Corey in probably 2 or 3 years. But Kate showed me pictures of you graduating. So Corey, what happened to your show, and where did you go? I haven't looked for your show like online, and I couldn't find it.
I went underground. This is probably like my first public appearance since I quit.
Now, did you erase your show? Because I can't even find the old podcasts.
Pretty much.
Were you worried like people at school would find it and you have a profession, or?
Yeah, kind of a professional.
Oh, that's ruined now.
I mean, it's no big deal. Honestly, I think, between Brian and I, we kind of came to the decision that the world wasn't ready for what we were doing, and they didn't quite get it. And I think we were right, just based upon the things, and I don't want to get political again, but based upon the political climate, it was probably the right choice.
I would agree with that completely. And I want to sit here and I want to say I was very proud of working with Corey Moore on the Corey Moore Show for quite some time. We did that show.
Couple years.
I think we tackled a lot of interesting topics, and I think we really got into a lot of interesting topics. But I think the time was right for both you and I to kind of back off and do the things that we're doing now, which is me sitting in my apartment with no pants on. So,
and Sansone had a long-running podcast too.
Yeah.
And when did you guys stop, Mike?
My podcast with my original co-host ended on the night that Obama took office in 2008.
Oh, well, shoot. I thought you'd done more recently. I didn't know it was
I did another 9-month stretch a couple years later, but
weren't you doing stuff with Guard Goldsmith?
Oh yeah, I've appeared on his show as a contributor regularly for quite a while, but then his show retired, and since then this is my first appearance in the last couple of years. So
yeah, so basically I had to scrape the bottom of the barrel of a bunch of people that have broken shows that can't get asked on anywhere else.
D-list.
We're moving on up.
I make way more money now, though. That's the thing. So.
Well, this is more of a better format, honestly, because before, when we were on radio, we had time constraints and commercial breaks, and it was a big pain in the butt. Now we can just go as long as we want to go and just shut it off.
Well, then also, I still don't get paid, so it doesn't affect me either way.
You're getting a check. Don't worry about it. just keep watching. It's coming. Hagen's sending it.
Yeah, I'll be sending the check. It's my mom in a box. But the great thing about a show like this is there doesn't have to be any freaking professionalism.
Right.
It's like you said, Tarrin, when we were doing Liberty Cats, we had to hit all the network cues. Corey, we always had to hit all those network cues. Right now, we don't have any freaking network cues. I can throw my middle finger up. Nobody's going to sue me. It's a lot better like that. I could stand up right now and do the dong dance if I wanted to, and nobody's going to sue me.
Don't.
So I won't, Mike. I'm not giving that away for free because then you'll no longer subscribe to my fetish channel.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, he needs a tip jar before that starts. But I think this is an interesting way because Corey was the first person I ever saw record Google Hangouts and put them up. But you were putting them up
innovator in that way.
Podcasts. Cool. I don't remember. Did you have a YouTube channel you were also putting them up on?
Yeah, because even then it was like automatically uploading to YouTube, so it was like
okay. So a little bit of both. I never really saw your YouTube channel, but I caught it mainly on LRN. But I think this has evolved so much that it's gotten easier. See, most of my stories, I'm trying to make a living on YouTube, so most of them are geared to what people want and what people are asking for. And this is like, I need one night where I can just screw off and hang out with you guys and not worry about ratings, numbers, money, none of that stuff. So, and without a night like this,
you found the right people.
Yeah, we're not going to bring you
I'm pretty sure the hits and the money won't be there for this show.
No.
I'm
Well,
pretty
that's
sure it'll
why-
be like, oh, we had 12 views. All right.
That's why I need to stand up and do my dong dance.
No.
Not
no.
yet, because you can still get my shows, my channel thrown off. Don't do that.
Oh, that is true. We
Still
don't-
broadcasting on my channel, dude.
It's already
Yeah,
bad
that's-
enough that he's on your channel, let alone being
Yeah,
the
I mean,
person responsible for
I'm already
getting you
getting all
thrown
the
off of it.
Complaint buttons nonstop every time Brian appears.
Yeah, people are checking that little thumbs down. And I'm like,
Thumbs
yeah, I
down,
got a
thumbs
thumb
down.
for you.
Oh,
I
look
got
at
a
that.
thumb
Yeah,
for
someone-
you, buddy.
Someone already gave us a thumbs down. If you see
I was about to
that.
say.
Oh, did they?
I just assumed it was one of you guys.
They did. They did. Let's just like this. Oh,
That was
now
when
I
Brian was going on his little rant about, for 10 minutes there.
Now,
Oh
wait,
man.
wait, I just disliked this. I didn't mean to dislike this. Oh, I just disliked this again. Now okay, there. Now I like it. Okay, there. That's better.
I figure out someone in the chat room is Gamer Girl 08 and knows us, but I can't figure out who that is. So who I invited Pink Hair Tracy to come talk, but I don't know if that's her that showed up.
Well, she could have brought the show some respect.
Well, we do need a female presence. Usually it's like 10 guys and one girl. It's, like
Just
Corey's
like
show was always all my guys and like maybe a chick or two that would ruin the show, and then that would be
That's
it.
the way I like my porn.
Yeah. 12 guys, one girl.
No.
And ring around the rose.
So we probably should, because I love how like we sit here and discuss women's rights and women's politics.
Yeah, exactly.
No woman on
You
this
should
show.
just shut up.
Birth control. Which one do you choose?
That is true.
I will tell you. I have
I'll allow
over
this
the past
talk.
couple of years, I've been going through a lot of stuff in my own life or what have you. And I'll just say this: I have never bought so many women's feminine products as I have had to. And you just get accustomed to it. I'm in Walmart, like buying stacks of pads and stacks of like ointments and everything. And it's just like you run into someone that and they're like, ooh, and I'm like, yeah, it's my
I think
fetish.
anyone that's
Well, that's because 16-year-old girls don't want to buy that stuff for themselves.
I'm just waiting for Hagen to say something really dumb that will like get me mobbed and swarmed and beaten to death.
times have changed, because like girls used to tap you on the shoulder to buy beer, and now, they're tapping Hagen for feminine products outside the store.
Corey, that's not fair. My girlfriend's 20, not 16.
This one.
Oh, what is
We're
it?
well over the legal age, but we still can't go to bars together.
I don't understand. You guys all have young girlfriends, except me and Mike, I think. No, Mike.
I was told
My lady's lovely.
Yeah, but
She
no,
is.
like
She's
Johnson has like a 21-year-old girlfriend, and
Girl, mine's not 21, but
no,
she's
he's
a
got some
sweetheart.
20. What do you do now here? Oh,
Here's the
oops,
thing,
Kate
I
got
turned-
mad because I called her old. Sorry.
Yeah. Hi,
I forgot
I'm Tarrin. I'm dating an old lady. No. Yeah, good one, Tarrin.
My bad.
Good move. Kate, how do you put up with it? I mean, I understand. Just like throw things at him. I mean, he deserves it.
Yeah, I would just.
So
throw
what's
things
it
at
like
him.
to be single now and date? Because when I was last time I was really single was kind of like when Match was still a thing. You go on like Match.com and meet girls, but these days it's like super shallow. They have things like Tinder, right, where you just people and you don't know anything about them, right?
Right.
Like,
or
how do you meet girls now?
Or Seeking Arrangement is another one. It's a sugar daddy, sugar baby website where basically you go on there, you set up your profile, and girls want money, and they'll give you time and attention if you throw money at
And
them.
Brian speaks from experience.
That blatant? It's a real website, I assume. You're not joking?
No, I'm not joking at all. It's a very real website. I've been on it many a time. The problem is I'm not a sugar daddy. I'm a Splenda daddy.
Oh God.
You just have free samples you get for your coffee that you hand out.
That's
Here's my
it.
sample bags. Sample bag daddy.
That's exactly what I am. I ain't got no money. I'm like, you want me my sugar baby?
He's like,
Here, I'll throw you.
You get diet
I'll throw you
sugar.
10.
You get diet sugar.
Exactly. Here's the diet, and I'll probably give you cancer too. But I'm like, here, baby. I'm your sugar. I'm gonna throw you $10. Go have a fancy lunch at McDonald's on Daddy.
Oh man, $10. That is a lot.
Balling on
I
the
mean,
budget, man.
this is, this is right out of the recession here. $10 is steep. Too much.
My favorite app is Grindr.
What is Grindr for us uninitiated?
Oh, seriously, I was just making a joke, but it's like the gay Tinder.
Oh,
Yep.
it's a lot more funny if you explain it. Okay.
Now Taryn's taking notes.
Grindr.
Grindr. How do you spell that?
What's your profile?
I'm gonna do some research and go hang out with Jamie in the men's bathroom and take selfies together in the mirror.
Well, I think that's why Jamie isn't here.
That's what Mike and Jamie are doing right now. Jamie's modeling in front of his mirror.
I think that's why he missed the show. He needed an update. In his little gym outfit with his leather gloves.
The big beard.
Take that perfect Grindr photo.
Oh man. We're getting comments here that the older women are upset that we are not saying that they are fun to date as well in the chat. So cougars are cool. I have dated my share of cougars for sure.
That was that was the first age bracket that I dated when I lived in my apartment here that I'm living in.
The cougar, and what's cool about cougars is they usually have money. They usually know who they are already, and they're done playing games with you. You just show up, hang out with the girl, and leave.
It's the second and the third thing, man. Like they don't care. They're just like, hey, I'm here, you're here, let's have fun and let's hang out. All right.
Yeah, but my thing is, somebody said this to me just the other day. I can't remember who it was.
You can't talk about cougars, man. No, just shut your mouth.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Is
Brian's never dated anyone over the age of 13.
It's only legal in like 3 countries where Brian can go.
Interpol. Do not. That was a joke.
Yeah.
Interpol.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you. Somebody's got to help.
I got your back, homie.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I do. I've always gone for younger women, and I know that there's some psychological issue there. I'm sure it needs to be diagnosed. Sure, I have some sort of issues from my childhood because the priest didn't touch me funny. But the fact of the matter is, I mean,
you didn't talk about the nuns.
They touch him funny.
Do they have the same issues? Is there a lot of molestation with nun issues? Or I thought it was just priest.
No. Oh, I don't even know if I should go here or not, but I'll go here. a lot of nuns. They don't like diddle kids or anything like that, but they tend to stick together very closely. If that makes any sense.
They play for Team Cat instead of Team Dog?
They're lesbians. They're lesbians.
You have to spell it out for you.
Yeah. They go to dinner together.
RINDR, by the way.
Oh God, guys.
Oh Lord. We have gone off the rails tonight, my friend. Off the rails tonight.
You could say we've gone wheels off.
Almost, yeah.
We got
us. Although
we didn't need those.
I mean, the show crashed in the middle, and the guest didn't show up. The show crashed. You guys cussed all over the place. It's
Mike,
pretty much wheels off.
Mike, Jamie. That's what you guys get.
Yeah, there it is. I'll throw a couple out for him too.
Gamer Girl keeps talking to us, and she keeps wanting to see hair. You want to see my hair? This is what it is now.
Mine's awful.
Like, I've never grown my hair this long since the 70s. I don't know what got into me. I was like, I want to see what it looks like long.
It looks good on you, man.
And so now people say they like the big fro. I'm gonna see if I can go all Don Cornelius style, some Soul Train action where you get the big afro. But
that's a good idea. You look good with
that's a good look for you, buddy.
There's my hair. Here, I'm putting it straight down on my face. Oh boy, it smells bad.
God, gross.
Smells like greasy bacon.
I can smell it from here, dude.
You've been eating too much bacon, dude.
Well, what's funny
is that
from my end, I'm getting like test patterns as Corey chimes in. So it's just like the network cuts from Hagen. Like, no.
Yeah, Corey, I appreciate you going out of the way and actually putting a picture up. Thanks for that. Way to care about that.
I wish I knew why it was happening.
At least you get a test
You
pattern
ran
out
a
of the guy.
show where you did Google Hangout. You know more about it than anyone, and he comes on with a
Yeah, but he's coming on.
screen.
He came on your show in a bind. He saved your show.
Fine. You saved
That
it.
is-
Okay, yeah.
I would say
That's true.
Corey saved it. Otherwise, it would have just
Yep.
been us three dingleberries hanging out here. Lord
And,
only
like,
knows
Dude, like then I might have started whipping out my butt crack
what-
just to sing, just to bring it down, just to sink it. Like
Does it fit?
I'm not sure what they're talking about. I just some reason they're talking about Olivia Newton-John in the chat room.
Well, why not?
What do we want to talk
Olivia
about her about?
Newton-John. Well, I mean, let's look at Olivia Newton-John. She came to America, and this is a good example of why we need to build a wall. And I'm not talking about Mexicans. I'm talking about Australians. She's to America. She's this little Australian gal, and she starts singing songs and releasing them to country radio. And none of that was country music. So that's what we got to make sure that we keep out of this country are country singing Australians that aren't singing country music.
We got in trouble for singing
we
it
go.
in school. The let's get physical. Like they got mad that we sang that in school and stopped us. And then relax, don't do it. Like we had a Frankie Says Relax shirt, and I got sent home with that because I didn't know that was about
Masturbation.
well, yeah, but premature ejaculation is what that song's about. It's about relaxing. Don't do it yet. And
Oh,
I can't believe that like the songs that were on the radio were about that premature ejaculation. We're singing it.
Well, yeah, that's
It's a good life
absolutely
lesson, though,
filthy.
No, but
It really
it's
is.
just another example of the 80s that they got away with murder. Like you couldn't have that be a top 40 hit now.
Well, another good example, One Night in Bangkok by Murray Head from the play Chess, written by the guys from ABBA. You know, that song was all about the prostitutes in Thailand.
That's true.
Couldn't have although it's funny because like those were considered controversial in their time, and now we have like the most misogynistic, filthy songs. That new piece of garbage from Ariana Grande that's all about what is it? It's about like improper touch or something. That's on the radio waves. So we went from like these veiled messages, which it was like, are they saying this or aren't they saying that? To now it's just flagrant,
Like
in your
overt.
face filth. Yeah, overt filth. And then you got somebody like Ariana Grande going, "Oh, I'm a role model for kids," and it's like, no, you're not, Ariana. You're a filthy little thing, you know.
Oh,
And it made me
yes.
mad because
Filthy little
you're a dirty
thing.
little girl. You're a dirty. Somebody needs to get spanked, don't they? Somebody needs to be punished.
I can't wait to see
It's
all
not the family hour anymore, right?
Yeah, I know. You know, Google's going to put a closed caption automatically on all this.
Oh, you're right.
You want to see what it says on closed caption? How much we can get Google to say? Oh, Clyde in the chat room brings up a good point. He says, "Whatever happened to the stories of teacher-student? Like, you know, all the teacher-student love."
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, hot for
hasn't gone
teacher.
away. It
Hot
has
for
not
teacher.
gone away.
Well, and
Yeah,
that's the thing. That's another topic. In the 80s, you could play that for laughs.
yeah,
Like all the way
teachers.
through the 90s would play that for laughs, you know? Now it's people going to prison.
Yeah,
So,
and you could have-
not so much for laughs.
You could have sex with teachers, and it wasn't. You know, they wouldn't even lose their jobs back then. Like, you know, you really could. That happened all the time. I think around 2000s when it changed, when all those teachers got in trouble for having babies with their kids and stuff. And they were always
And that's
hot
how Tarrin met his
teachers.
first girlfriend.
Yeah, and that leads into my second wife. Yeah. All right. I did try to date the teacher once. It didn't go well.
No.
You did?
I tried, yeah. It didn't happen. College teacher, you know. In college, some reason your they kind of look the other way. You're allowed to, but nah.
Oh,
I got nowhere. But I tried.
Took one look at you like, yeah.
She's like, this guy's not going anywhere.
No.
Like you failed. Not just my course, buddy.
And that was when he was like hot, when he was doing all that lacrosse and stuff. What did you play? Lacrosse or
No, rugby.
rugby? I mean, it's the same thing, right?
No.
Soccer.
Rugby.
Oh my
croquet.
God. Yeah, and that was when I was like in shape and thin and playing sports. But it's, that's a hard sport. I played it 20 years and you just can't play it as an old man. It's like getting in a car wreck every time you play. It's tough sport. I'm trying to find another sport I'd be interested in, but I just can't find anything that's interesting, like tennis,
Rocket
sports,
League.
Shuffleboard. I mean, that's
Bad
perfect
bit.
for someone.
Yeah, I need to learn bridge. I want to start moving to like old people's games. Learn bridge and shuffleboard. It's where I need to be going in my life, I think.
Rocket League.
Rocket League, yes, we still play. But that's, I need a physical activity. Maybe horseshoes. Brian, do you play horseshoes?
My dad was a horseshoe player, actually. Won a lot of trophies. So I grew up on horseshoes. But to answer your question, I don't know a thing about it. Like, I have horseshoes, but I've never played since I was like 5.
So what's the laziest sport you can play? Still be
darts.
called a sport.
Lawn darts.
No, you still got to walk over
Dart
and retrieve the
legal.
dart.
No, bocce ball.
Bocce, yeah,
Oh,
the big fat
yeah.
Italian guys play that. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
bocce
kind
is
of, but you
pretty
got to
lazy.
retrieve the balls. But they usually pay a kid to come and clean it all up. I'm trying to think because it was funny at one time they were talking about putting bowling in the Olympics, and I was like, so these guys that you see with the big beer bellies are winning Olympic medals,
That would be
Cornhole,
awesome.
maybe?
Pulling down.
As long as they drink White Russians, dude.
Which one did you say, Corey?
Cornhole?
Cornhole.
Yeah.
Oh, or beer pole. Y'all ever play beer pole?
No, what's that?
Beer pole, you get 2 poles. You put them about 10 feet apart. Then you put a beer can on top of each pole, and you take a Frisbee and you throw it and try to knock the beer can off.
It sounds
And
like
there's
you
a
just made that up.
No, it's an actual. It actually came from Germany, and there are leagues in Germany for this game. It's a fact. There's a different set of scoring. Like if you hit the pole at a certain area, you get so many points. If you catch the can, your opponents lose their points. No, it's a real game. And honestly, I say that it's not physical, but it's actually pretty physical. You've actually got to be moving a lot with beer pole, and it's a very challenging game. And it's one that I think we really need to bring into our school system and have the kids playing for PE class. Because I think kids would be, have a lot more fun playing beer pole than they would like walking on the freaking treadmill.
And this is not a joke. One of the very first things I learned how to play was quarters because of my brothers. So I'm like a 9-year-old quarter expert. We sat there and practiced quarters. But I think that went out in the 80s too, because they played beer pong now in the 90s and they don't even know how to play quarters anymore.
Well, I think quarters probably, you're right. Like mid 90s was probably the end of quarters. That's when I really started playing quarters, was like early to mid 90s. You remember at Pork Fest several years ago, Tarrin, us sitting there. You remember this, Corey? When we were playing
Parts of
quarters. Oh, I got so drunk.
Yeah. So we went to a festival, and some reason I thought it'd be fun to have an 80s drinking night. Like we played all the 80s games like Thumper and Quarters, and it did not last long. We do not drink like the 80s anymore. It doesn't.
No.
It wasn't as
The
glorious
crazy
as I
part about
remember.
that was we were all hungover and Tarrin comes walking down like nothing had happened. He drank more than the rest of us combined.
Yeah, those were good days. I used to be able to drink a lot in rugby, but I can't really do that much anymore. I only drink once a year during Pork Fest. It's like Groundhog Day.
Well, I'm going to be honest. I don't drink much at all. I haven't had anything to drink, and I know this is going to sound like terrible, but I haven't had anything to drink in a month. Like I know people are like, I haven't had anything to drink in years, but no, I haven't had anything to drink in a month.
No, that's a big deal because I don't remember the last time you went that long without a drink.
No, I mean, you know me. I've always been a pretty heavy booze drinker, and
Is
I
your
don't
body
know.
revolting when you quit for a month? Do you go through this like, oh my God, where's my booze?
No, not at all. It doesn't make any difference if I have the booze or if I don't have the booze. It's about the same for me. I never have a craving for it or anything like that. What's happened with me is this easy chair that I'm sitting in right now that I got for Christmas, and the fact that I also have satellite TV now. So there's no need to like drink when I have like 100-something channels and an easy chair to relax in.
It's so expensive. Like, Mike, how much do you think you spend a year at the ale? But Mike stops almost every night after work and to this same bar he's been going to for years.
Oh,
He's basically Norm.
Oh, my friends on it. Yeah.
I'm changing my answer. My favorite 80s TV show, by the way.
Hold on, I want to hear Mike's how much his booze budget are we doing?
My booze budget is probably most of my budget. At the same time, though, like it.
Because you drink like expensive beers, right? You don't put
like I'm a total foodie beer snob, dude. Like it's either I make it myself with my girlfriend, or we go out and get people that use like natural ingredients that we can kind of trace, and I drink good beer. That's, if I'm not going to drink water, like I'm either drinking water, coffee, or beer, and that's kind of how I roll. And so yeah.
All right. So when you get a certain age, you get allowed to be a beer snob when you can actually afford it.
Yeah.
Corey, do you still drink?
No, I stopped drinking. I maybe once a year, if that, and not a lot.
Oh, okay.
The hangovers became too hard for me. I know I'm young, but like it just was too much. Just too much for me. I couldn't do it anymore.
Hangovers hurt more than they used to. What I failed to mention is just because I don't drink anymore, it's because I picked up meth.
Yeah. Oh, there's always that.
You picked up math? What?
I picked up meth.
Oh, meth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I decided Christopher Cantwell should be my inspiration.
Oh man, don't open that door on this show.
He can't open his own door.
Like release a response video to this, so we might as well. We mentioned his name.
No, I don't want
exactly.
to do that.
No, I want that battle.
Just hear that at Brian. I don't want that.
Yeah, aim it right at me, Cantwell. You methed out.
Hey, you can't well do that. I'm just saying.
Oh, all right, chat room. Is there anything last thing you want to talk with us about before we end this train wreck of a show?
It's been a train wreck.
Bejeweled cod pieces, which yes, I want one.
I do too. It's the only thing I wear: a bejeweled cod piece and a leather vest and boots.
That kind of reminds me of the first. Well, no, I guess it's the second one where when I was at Pork Fest and they had Buzz's Big Gay Dance Party and Star Child came. So this guy was named Star Child who showed up, and all he wore was a banana hammock, right, and like a fur coat, and he ended up winning the dance competition at that party.
I love Star Child.
Yeah,
awesome.
He would be comfortable just walking around in a cod piece. You got to have that kind of body to pull that off. Although, apparently, not at a European beach. You can pretty much like those European bathing suits where the fat guys they don't care. They wear the thongs. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's
thong.
I want to be that guy.
Yeah, you have to get to the point where you either got to get unemployed enough, or you're poor enough that you don't care, or drunk enough, or old enough. Those are your choices. Like I'm getting close.
Have a spray tan.
Yeah, I want to basically get old enough to just stop caring at all. Like
you're getting there.
I'm close. I'm making some moves, but that's my goal in life, to be that crazy old guy that they're like, oh, he's just eccentric. He's not crazy.
Just make sure it's the Borat yellow one.
Yes. It goes up over your shoulders. That's the best.
Oh man, Borat. That was a good movie.
Yeah, it was.
Still funny. And all right, guys. On that note, I'm going to call this show. Do you guys want to do this again in maybe like 2 weeks?
Would love to.
Every 2 weeks or so. Is that enough? Because I don't know if we want to do it weekly. I'm not sure I want to do that, but
I don't think
probably like every 2 or 3 weeks. No, nobody wants that.
Like
I said, all 11 viewers are gonna want that.
yeah, we already had a few enough viewers, and I don't need
And I
11
think-
viewers to ruin my employment.
Well, what's funny is
situation.
you'll see it says like 11 or 12 watching, but by the time the show's over, it'll be a couple hundred. Like people come in and out and then just like listen to us for 3 minutes and hang up. You know,
Yeah,
so,
but I'm still on the same screen with you and Hagen.
and probably most of the viewers are just us four.
Yeah, that's where you start looking first, sir.
But honestly, this is the point of this: is I want to just have a place where we can screw around and talk and tape it, but not care about views or numbers or I'm not trying to start a podcast with it. I just thought it would be fun to do.
It's kind of like a circle jerk.
Thank you for putting it into perspective.
You're welcome.
All right, just watch your shoes.
Yeah. And don't eat the freaking cookie.
Yeah. Oh, is it the
Whatever
cookie?
you
I've always
do.
heard of the bread man. It was the bread when in the 80s. That shows my age.
Bread,
It wasn't a
crackers,
cookie till recently.
cookies. It all depends on the taste of your audience.
Oh man,
Spoken from true experience.
terrible.
Hey, if you can't eat a dirty cookie, what can you eat?
If anybody is listening to this still, you can always, if you missed the beginning of the show where we were actually talking about subjects that we were trying to stay on subjects before I crashed the show and killed it.
I believe the Mises Institute right now is offering a free online course on how to make a dirty cookie.
Good old Mises Institute.
I believe Dr. Tom Woods just did a whole thing on Liberty Hangout about dirty cookies.
Oh my God.
The forwards by Bob Murphy.
All right. The only there's like 3 people on the planet that get that joke. I don't even think Mike got the joke.
No.
And he's on the panel. Come on, man. Oh, jeez. All right.
Terry, put this show out of its misery already.
All right. We're calling it quits. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Remember, if you actually want to talk about serious stuff, that'll be in 2 days, my Thursday show, which will have thousands of people watching. Not 9. Oh no! Wait,
Right. You
It will.
bolstered my positivity about your channel and your efforts, sir.
Yeah, Thursday, because it's funny is you have these people that take me serious and they'll show up to the Thursday show and then they're gonna see this and be like, what the hell? I'm on the wrong channel. This is my sanity.
Because we actually know you in person, Tarrin.
Please.
So that'll be at 8 o'clock on Thursday Eastern Standard Time, and I know we got a lot of international people, so that is USA. I'm talking about Eastern Standard.
Oh, I've got.
Oh, go ahead. You
I've
want
got
to
the
add
closing
something?
line. I've got the close. No. This needs to be your out cue. Keep the smiles big and your cookies dirty. That needs to be the standard out cue from now on for your show.
Yeah, I'll allow you to say that one. Go ahead.
Thanks so much for tuning in tonight to Tearing It Up Tuesday with Tarrin Lupo. The doctor will return on Thursday with a more serious program. We hope you enjoyed the lighthearted fare tonight. And remember, as we always say, keep the smiles big and the cookies dirty.
All right, good place to stop. Stop.